Awesome.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Mic Drop, a revolution of a generation on Relax Radio Beyond Frequencies. And as always, my name is Emanase, and I'll be here for one last show today on the Mic Drop and with a one of a kind activist. I'm super excited for today's show. Well, we are with Nuzly Hameem. Nuzly, I don't need to do, I guess, any sort of special introduction because right now the entire country and probably the world is aware of your activism and your contribution to bringing up solutions for the current economic crisis, fighting the good fight, and of course, fighting the peaceful fight. So before we dive right into the session, welcome to the show and thank you so much for being a part of Relax Radio.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, well, super excited to have you on the show. And usually, so tell us a bit about how things have been for you for the past couple of days. How has life been treating you? How has just activism in general been?
Last couple of days, I would say, last 3-4 months have been pretty much overwhelming, to be honest. Like to start with, ever since starting from Mirhan, March 31st, I would say, we have been, as a country, we have been going through a lot.
Yes.
Not only as activism, I would say, like completely, like the generally life has been pretty much hard. I have been in fuel lines for like 30-35 hours and then sleeping in the car, eating in the car, and also doing the activism part. So it's been a hell of a journey, I would say. It's
Hell of a
really,
journey.
yeah.
That's the way to put it. But hey, you have all the good smiles in you. I can still see the good spirit in you, and I believe usually that spirit is very, I guess, evident in everything that you do because you are still fighting the good fight.
Yeah, I think everyone should have it. Like, we are planning to have the end game. Like, we still haven't got rid of what we're trying to achieve. So it's just
the
started. Yeah, the main villain. We need to get rid of main villain to start the story. So we are still in the, like, what do you call, baby steps.
Yes, baby steps. Well, we have to start somewhere. But what you said was beautiful. You have to, no matter what happens, you kind of have to still smile and then keep going, right?
Exactly. That's right.
Well, for anyone hopping on board, welcome to the show. We are going live on our Facebook and YouTube pages. So if you're watching, hello and welcome. You can definitely hit us up on +447852473473 if you have any questions for Nuzly, because today is all about him and he will be giving out the most authentic answers as he possibly can, and also reminding you to hit that subscribe button on the Relax Radio YouTube page so you don't miss out on special programs just like this one. And also download the Relax Radio app that is available completely for free for both iOS and Android devices. So you know what you gotta do, head on to your Apple App Stores, your Google Play Stores, and hit that download button so we can keep you running in the background and guarantee you great company as always. Now, Nuzly, one of the main questions I do ask, the youth activists or the influencers interviews that I do bring onto the Mic Drop is, not just in terms of economy, right? Now, Sri Lanka as a whole, we've had problems for a very long time, right? So in general, where do you see in your personal experience, and of course, with everything that you have been, experiencing in your life ever since you were, ever since you've been a kid, where do you think the country is headed?
So first of all, the economic crisis was led by the political crisis.
Yes.
Yes. This is not something happened overnight. This has been coming for a long time because of the corruption and nepotism especially. And we couldn't, every country takes loan, but the main problem was how we use the loans, to be honest. So I think this is a very gray area right now. We are here, being here. So it's all about how the politicians going to work towards the country and how people are going to work towards the country.
Yes.
It will be very objective and will lead to the future.
Yes.
So it's all on people's hand now.
Yes.
All these days we were just saying up, or one person will come, he will save the country. That's what we told last time also. We will come and save the country.
Yeah.
And some people said, even though we don't in like kannanada tisarada, right?
Alright.
You got it.
That's
you,
a like
you got it right.
Yeah,
You have a
yeah.
country now, but you don't have food.
Food. Exactly.
Yeah, I saw stories like the theft happened yesterday. Like one person has gone into a house and only taken rice and curry. Like that's how far we have fallen. Like we need, like, people are the change. People need to understand that people can't just give away just like that. That's what happened after the first wave of Aragale. Like
Yes.
when the 13 hours of power cut went down to 6 hours or 2 hours, and when Ranil Wickremesinghe came and told, I will take care of this, everyone went home. But look at it now.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. It has absolutely become chaos.
You
Things
think
are-
it has gotten worse ever since Ranil came into power?
Yes. At least we had fuel back then, and now we don't have fuel. I mean, the
Yeah.
shortages have been absolutely this thing chaos. Like it's going to get worse, just getting started. So I would say, just don't just give up on your country. Your country is your mother. You just don't give up on your mother or your family just because they have been, hard on yourself. Like
Yeah,
they are.
that's very true.
Yeah.
So also, do you think, you said, even if we do have a country to live, there's like no food to eat, right? So Sri Lankans, have always, I guess, had that mindset.
Not really. Like especially this, what do you call this religious politics was
Okay.
brought in by the Rajapakshas.
Right.
The racism, especially. Mahinda Rajapaksa is the main, like, has been there ever since SWRD board, the Sinhalese law and everything. But Mahinda and Rajapakshas are the main reason racism went to next level. Especially like during the war and
Yes.
The main genocides happening, and after that bringing, I would name it Jnana Saratero, and bringing attacks on Muslims, and then all of a sudden everyone, okay, we got the youth of the nation got the first chance to remove the Rajapakshas at once, and
Yes.
we removed it 2015, and they played another mind game, and they people know it's a known truth, but we can't prove it. Who did the Easter attack? And they're in power again.
They're in
They-
power.
Yeah, they just blamed it over the minorities over and over again to come onto power.
So
That's
why
right.
is there no, proper law in the country? Because, when you think about the foreign countries, right? When the politicians or, the government makes a mistake, a huge mistake, just like, we do know what happened behind Easter attacks
I
as
mean,
well.
Sri Lanka has a very good law. It's not like we don't have a law. It's just that law, who is in power is
They are manipulating. the law.
manipulating it. Like
Yes.
last time also, we could have done a lot of things, and it was Ranil who was in power. Ranil was always a Rajapaksa fan. He's a Rajapaksa puppet always. He has been Rajapaksa puppet. Even now he came to power because he wanted to save Rajapaksa, not because he wanted to save the country.
So when they were competing back then for, presidents, do you think even back then they sort of had a whole agenda behind Rajapaksa coming into power?
Maybe I'm not sure about that honestly, but by the looks of it, it looks like
It looks
that.
like that. Because I remember I interviewed Royal, and she actually said, yes, behind the scenes they are fist buddies.
Yeah, they are actually.
They
I
are.
mean, if I don't know if you guys remember that, like there was a incident in front of UNP officers,
Yes.
like where the UNP party supporters wanted Ranil out of the party, and Mahinda Rajapaksa overnight started carpeting the road. I mean, that's how he supported Ranil, and Ranil has been supporting the
It's like a
same
back
way.
and
It's a
forth
back
thing.
and forth thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been like buddies. So you never know what's this thing. So this time we will take out of Ranil as well when you are taking out of Gotabaya and Rajapaksa.
So that's like the next goal.
I mean, it's a goal together, all right
Yeah.
together. Like if there's gonna be a new parliament, if there's gonna be new election, it's completely. I mean, this time also people rejected, but he came through national list. Okay, so next time at least the party, the so-called the greatest party in history of Sri Lanka, has the balls to select someone else than this six-time so-called prime minister.
Prime Minister has basically done nothing
Yes,
for the country.
absolutely.
Well, there you go. Nuzly Hameem giving out the most authentic answers, just like I promised that he would on the mic drop. A revolution of a generation. So Nuzly, once again, thank you for your authenticity and your honesty, and of course, thank you so much. I know you're a very busy person. Thank you so much for making your time and being a part of Relax Radio. And I wanted to ask you, so activism, right? So now, basically everyone's calling you a youth activist. Where did your activism start? Was it, after the whole Argali situation, or has it been happening, for a very long time?
I think started very recently.
Right.
I mean, I have been making notes like issue like topics like having things in my social media, but I never was involved in physically.
At one point, did you feel like even, on social media to share a
I would
post?
say I'll be honest. So power cuts have been the main reason why I came into this as well. So I'll be honest. There is nothing to hide in this. I mean, like there was a 13-hour power cut, and I was like, what do I do when I go home? So I let me go to a protest, and that's when I went to a silent vigil happened in Liberty. I think Liberty Junction.
Yeah.
It was in mid March, I would say.
Okay.
And that led to another protest, and I ended up being in Virihana.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a story to that started. So the 13-hour power cut was
13 hours. I mean, Rajapaksa's got their own enemies into the power.
That's very true. So would you say you chose activism or activism chose you?
I think it was bound to happen at the time.
Bound to happen. It was like fate.
Yeah, it was like fate. I never planned to come into this anyways. If you would have asked me like starting of March, would you come to that? Like, hell no.
Right? Like a big no. So where do you stand at this point, right? Obviously, your life, I don't think it's normal at all anymore with everything that's, been going around. So how has that affected your personal life?
It has affected a lot. I can't make absolute comments on my professional life, but I have left my job. Like I have been almost at my job. Like last few days at my job. So it's not because of it's actually because of the activism, but it doesn't directly involve there. But so that's I can't make part of the reason. So I can't make actual comments on it because it's another professional reasons. Like I make comments on it, and also to a point that I don't know. You might have seen like the Sri Lankan police going into my office and collecting of my details and asking for my details. It's like that's how it is. Like it's like sometimes paranoid to go alone in the roads also. So
that's absolutely a fair and a justice kind of fear to have because
not only me. I will like
basically every
activist out there. Yeah, we are just paranoid. Like sometimes like even after COVID, we are still wearing masks and caps and hats and whatnot. Like it's been like absolutely paranoid because we know what our enemy is capable of, what they have done in the past. So we have to be absolutely like take care of our own life because regardless of whatever people might say, like we are alone in this. And
that is very true. And Nuzly, obviously, your activism has brought about huge change, and I believe behalf of every Sri Lankan out there, thank you for being a part of this and for making a movement, creating a movement that has been needed for a very long time. But amidst all of this, like you said, walking alone at night, you do have that paranoia. And it's totally fair because when you think about the journalists right back during the JVP riots and everything, how many people were killed, right? You can't come up and voice out your opinions or anything. You basically went missing. So have you ever had that maybe in the middle of the night, or if you ever had time to sleep, by the way, these past few months, did you have a thought of a moment of regret, or I wish I could go back and not have done this?
No, I haven't regretted it, obviously.
Never.
I haven't regretted the decisions I made. It's absolutely fine what I'm doing. Just that, but there have been a lot of paranoid moments, like when you like stop at a place and you see the same person like you see the other day, like this guy's following me, like that sort of option.
Yeah, you have that.
You've been having it like every now and then, like it's never there. Like so those kind of moments are there, and like you said, like I'm just one of those. Like there are like hundreds and hundreds of fighting, so I don't think I'm
one of those that stands out.
Yeah, it's just a common man. I'm just a soldier. This war, that's all. And I don't take it in my head anyway. It's not nice because I think everyone should do it. Every Sri Lankan should come out to the street at this point. Like, so I don't see myself as a superior person to any other Sri Lankan. If you are still doing it even in your social media, you can't come out and you are sick or you have your family conditions. you are still equal as me. That's how I see.
That's very true. Humble, honest, and authentic. That is Nuzly Hameem, a youth activist of one of a kind. On the mic drop, a revolution of a generation, creating a movement that has been long needed for the country to go in the correct path. Now, Nuzly, as much as the protests, right, have been bringing up changes, necessarily, like for example, we got to chase out the Rajapaksas, like for some amount. I would say, like, we are not there yet properly, but we did do a lot. And at the same time, right? So since all of these protests have been soaring all over the country, what negatives are you seeing from these protests? Just think about it, right? So there have been, obviously then again, you don't know if they were, pro-government people as well. But I had myself an experience, I couldn't come to work. There were people literally stopping buses and vehicles with, sticks and
I mean, that was also a political drama too. I personally, I don't know how many people even in Aragale would believe that that's a political drama to bring Ranil into this case.
Why do you think that is?
Because Mahinda wanted to make a statement before he goes.
Okay.
He was someone who has been in power for 54 years.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he won't be able to come to power ever again. Like, he won't be able to come to a prime minister situation ever again. He might become a minister, like a parliament minister, but he won't be able to become prime minister. So you just want to make sure that he saves himself while he's gone. So if it was a normal situation, like after Mahinda goes means like Kotabe had to resign as well with time, because that gives the Aragalaya momentum, right?
Yes,
like someone like Mahinda leaving. So, but bringing those people in, creating a chaos, requires someone like made it look like there's no one to take care of the country.
Yes.
So Sajid refused. Sajid said, like, Sajid and Anurag, everyone said Gota need to go. But he refused, meaning there should be someone. Then there comes Ranil out of nowhere. Ranil coming meanings like Rajpaksha's getting saved again.
Yes.
So now they're like coming back from their caves, right?
Yes.
Was not like last few months we haven't seen their faces anywhere. Not only Rajpaksha's, most of the ministers, but now like that fear is going a little by little.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and people like, no matter whatever we say and do, people still have that mindset of like the 88, 89 riots and stuff. So Mahinda used that. Like, he wanted to show, are you guys gonna bring that? Mm-hmm. So he just put that inside people's mind. The crowd went little down, and crowd went little down with Ranil coming into power. Crowd further went down with all this fuel and everything. There used to be a time my car was in garage and I was waiting to get an Uber for like 2-3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so hard. Like, imagine if it's so hard for a day-to-day activist to come to this thing. Imagine someone who is a daily wage. It's really hard for them
to. And a bus is a luxury these days, right?
Yes.
Like, it's very.
So minimum rupee is like 40 rupees. Imagine that. Like, it used to be 17 in January and it has gone to 40 rupees. Inflation is skyrocketing. I mean, the official figure says 55%. I'm pretty sure it's like more than 100%.
100%, yeah. It's not like even they put out the true figures out there sometimes. And well, once again, this is of course the mic drop, the revolution of generation. And for today's edition of the show, we have a one-of-a-kind activist who has been doing the most for bringing up solutions for the current economic crisis, voicing out his opinions very loud and as authentic as he possibly can. This is Nuzly Hameem, and Nuzly, welcome to the show once again. And we are going live on our Facebook and YouTube pages as always. So do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on special programs just like this one. And also inviting you to download the Relax Radio app that is available completely for free for both iOS and Android devices. So you know what you gotta do, head on to your Apple App Stores, your Google Play Stores, and of course hit the download button and have us running in the background so we can guarantee you great company as always. And if you have any questions for Nuzly, why not dial up +44 785 473 473 once again, +44 785 473 473. Now moving on with more questions, Nuzly. So activism, right? So have you ever had a moment of where this activism of yours could turn into politics?
I've never thought of it.
You never thought of it. So is that something that maybe you would get into in the future?
I'm not planning it. actually.
Not planning into it.
I mean, not only me, like there are people who, I mean, I'm not saying everyone will be wanting this, but there are people who might want to get into politics, but most of us like are there because this is our like prime years that we are spending in this
Spending,
country,
right? I mean, I
But-
literally got into my 20s with COVID, and it has been going downhill ever since then.
Exactly. So imagine we are spending. We need a peaceful country. We need a this like we need to be able to go out, enjoy our lives, but this politician just messed it up. Right?
Yeah,
They
it's
just
not like you
messed
can
it up.
get this years back, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
we
go on.
won't be able to like okay, let's leave COVID apart, but
Now it's like a whole different story.
whole different story.
right?
Like we would be able to like we would like to go out, eat, or some people would like to go dance or party or whatever. But what's happening now? Like I mean, so we want that back. We want to live in a life and free life. Yeah, people should be able to eat their 3 meals a day without any hesitation. People should be able to roam around the country they used to, like
Travel,
and travel, have fun.
yeah.
Like even like people should be able to eat properly. Like cook, they should have cooking gas. They should have kerosene. They should, like, there's the normal necessities are absolutely like
We are literally going
God.
back in time.
Yeah, it's been like I mean, last 74 years, this is the worst. This thing. So he's
Yeah.
the worst president, I would say. Worst president.
Literally, like he has made that name. He's
Yeah.
going to go down as the worst president in
President
history.
ever.
Probably in history, I would say, of the world.
Maybe, yeah. So we need. That's exactly why I came. Like I personally wanted a country that I can live my life peacefully and I can enjoy my life, not like what we are having it right now. So as of now, I haven't even thought of getting
But
involved.
you are the kind of people or person we need in
I
the
mean, a
parliament
lot of people say
right
that.
now.
I mean, even certain political parties have come to me and talk to certain politicians have been talking. All these days I have been saying is no.
No.
Yeah.
But do you not see, like, if you do get involved into that side, yes, you could make a very positive impact that would, provide a country of freedom for the rest of the generations that are to come.
I mean, if
I know it's a lot of risk, like it's like you're putting
no,
your
it's
life
not
on the
about
line.
it's not about the risk. To be honest, I mean, there are good people out there. Like I just came into this for the process. Like I said, since I had a power cut, but there are people who have been fighting these kind of cause for years. I mean, let them come in. That's okay. I mean, I didn't come into because I want to become a politician or I want to earn money or some sort of thing. There are certain people who says that I want publicity, I want this and that. No, I didn't do anything for those. I just wanted to live my life in peace. That's why I came in. There are a lot of people. I mean, even in social media, you can see the lots of activists who have been fighting for this country for over and over a year, fighting for their community for over and over years. Like, if they willing to come, they will be coming, but they're just scared of what's people haven't given them a chance to be honest. People has been choosing these corrupt politicians over and over again.
right?
Like they did not see who is educated. Like if you see our parliament, like most of them are like all over like failed in all over, A levels also. That like the women representation is 8%, while our women representation of the country is like 52-53% at the moment. Like they are the majority of the country. So everything should be all these things should be systematic. People need to think who they want to vote. Like that's why most of the people, educated people, are willing to come to politics. This is not only in Sri Lanka. This is
It's
absolutely
a common theme
common.
all around the world.
I think not all around the world, mostly in South Asia,
South
even
Asia.
India, and mainly in Sri Lanka. So as of now, I haven't thought of getting into any politics. I think there are more valuable people than
That's not
myself.
true, Nuzly. But I believe, everyone would agree with me because, as a third person, right? And as someone who literally gets so much of information, even from you looking at your stories and whatnot, we can tell, you are the kind of person that we need right now in politics to bring about change that has been long needed. And I'm going to put you on the spot.
You're actually putting me on spot.
Yeah. Well, this next question, it might be a bit loaded and heavy, but you can feel free to skip it if you want to. Was there ever a time that you used to support the current government? If yes,
No.
why? If no, why?
No, I have not supported Rajput.
So you say no. What were your reasons?
To be honest, I never thought that they were doing something like apart from like there was a days I never got to vote them during the war or anything like that. So during the time, I thought my first vote was actually I someone who wanted to change as well. So I voted for
Right.
Maitri Parsons back
Okay.
then. So, but in the parliamentary election, I voted for like a smaller party than that. Like, so I never thought these two major parties never had the ability to change. So, but if Sajid Premadas or if Anur Kumar Dissanayake can make a
Yes.
change now, they should put forward how they are going to change this thing.
Yes.
They can't just say, give us another try. I mean, this country is not anyone's to ask them, give us another try, give us another try. I mean, Anur Kumar can say, or JP can say, we haven't got a chance, okay, fine, but show us, we are too much tired of giving you guys chances over and over and over again. So please put forward something that we can rely on.
Yes.
People will absolutely vote you this time because people have opened their eyes. So I have never thought that these current two regimes that's been continuously changing had it in them. To be honest, they have been they have been absolute bogus what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
They've been taking loans and starting construction. I mean, I'm a construction engineer, but I would say what they've been doing is bogus. We don't need an Elumpakuna, we don't need
unnecessary.
Matala Airport or Harbour. I mean, they cancel what we want, like the LRT project. I mean, people might argue with me why we do not want LRT project. I mean, if the LRT project was here today, we would be enjoying our lives. But like you said today, like when you came here, you did not even have train to come from Ragam to here. So, so like you've been coming from morning to 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
From Ragam. So that's how shitty our
country
and I mean, there's public transport has been. So they choose what they want to invest on from our money. I mean, the loans are also our money. We are the people are the ones who's been paying it back. So they did not utilize the money properly. That's why we are here right now. So I mean, it's clearly mismanagement of finance. I would say both the government did that. Both the government did that. Like,
and you said, people have finally opened their eyes, but why did it take this generation, this time of this amount of time for people to actually open their eyes?
Not really. I wouldn't say that. I mean, people had their voices before also, but people were suppressed before. Because
what is the change that you are seeing
media
now? Social media is one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah, social media is
because you're able to make mind to go away, right?
I mean, social media's biggest weapon in the sense like nowadays fake news. I mean, there are lots of fake news going on, but but within hours that fake news can be like fought back. But during those days, you can't even like there's only newspapers going on. Like you don't even know. Like even if we need to send a message to all over the country to like arrange a protest tomorrow, we can do it within like 10 minutes. But those days they need to send like post and this and that. They can be mismanaged, miscommunications and all that. So social media plays a very vital role, and this generation revolution mainly depends on social media.
On social media, so that's one of the biggest contributing factors to
biggest
spreading the message, the biggest weapon in our arsenal. Well, there you go. He literally said it out there. Social media, one of the biggest weapons that has been, creating this movement, helping creating this movement, and of course, giving out the most authentic, empowering, honest answers, and a very humble human being. He's as humble as he's on there as well. So, Nuzly, once again, thank you so much for being a part of the Mic Drop Revolution of a Generation, where we bring out youth activists, content creators, influencers to voice out their opinions, their narratives, and of course their perspectives on the revolution of a generation as they see it through their own eyes and of course through their own minds. As always, you can be a part of the show on +44 785 247 3473. Once again, +44 785 247 3473. If you have any questions for news, then also do hit that subscribe button on the Relax Radio YouTube page, which we are going live right now on, so you don't miss out on special programs just like this one. And with that, of course, We are moving on to a very short commercial break. We will be right back. We're moving on to the final half of the show. I was telling Nuzly off as well, the time is really going to fly by in like 5 minutes, and even the show is for one now. Well, this is the mic drop, a revolution of a generation on Relax Radio beyond frequencies, and we are going live on our Facebook and YouTube pages. So if you're watching from any of those, hi and welcome. Nuzly, say hi to everyone. I'm pretty sure everyone's happy to see you and happy to have you because he's giving out, like I said, the most authentic, honest, humble answers as he possibly could. So I'm absolutely loving the conversation that we are having right now. And so without further ado, let's get in back to the question. So this has also been one of the major questions that I've been asking from everyone I've been interviewing. So what are your thoughts on people, right, who choose to basically stay silent with regards to the current economic crisis, whether, it is sharing posts on social media or showing up to protests, apart from obviously, the pro-government people? What are your thoughts on people who choose to stay silent?
I mean, coming to protest is, I would say, you can't blame everyone for that.
Yes.
Yeah, they might have their own reasons, right? I mean, at this point, I would say no reasons can be acceptable, but you can't say it like that as well. Like, there are certain people you just need to accept the fact that they can't come. But in social media, I would say that's purely if you're going to stay silent, that means you're supporting them. You're
just putting it out there.
Yeah,
so if you're going to stay silent, that's what it is.
Yeah,
right?
you're just supporting them. That's absolutely the thing. Like your social media, you're not paying anything. You can fight for the cause. You can spread the cause. If you're putting if you can't come, and if you have 1,000 followers, and if you're putting the message out there, at least one person come, that means you are bringing that person. So if you're gonna stay silent for it, that means it's literally you're supporting those people.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember
about-
because like we had Anjali on the show, and I asked her the same question. She was like, you can't be like this side, that side. There's no neutrality.
No
here.
neutrality. You need to be
It's either
on
this
the
or that.
people's side or you are in the
On the government side. And talking about neutrality and whatnot, so let's talk about the dark day, the 9th of May, right? Which will be remembered for a very long time. Where the pro-government people attacked the peaceful protests at GTG. So Nuzly, not just as an activist, as a human being, just tell us about your experience when it hit the news. Where were you, and what sort of thoughts ran through your mind?
So I was in the office, like one of the politicians actually, like you politician actually WhatsApp me saying that, like he sent me a video. I can see that they are coming towards you guys. Then I actually didn't care what was happening. I just left.
It was just like another fake news.
No. It was a video. Like
All right,
it was a video. Actually, there was rumors that it will happen. Like we got the rumors like a couple of days back, but actually we
So
could
there
not-
was pre-warning.
pre-warning in the sense like there were rumors that this can happen, but I think it was like these kind of rumors has been coming up every day. Like it's been the first 30 days, first 40 days, we have been getting rumors every day.
Yes.
Like the army will intervene, the police will come, this thing today, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, this will happen. So this was one of those rumors. So when this thing started happening, I was like, oh shit, it's really happening. That's when I came. My office is like very nearby, so I came within 5 minutes. By the time I come, like almost the 70% of the like heating and everything was done. That's why I was like nothing happened to me. But ever since then, for like next 6 hours, it was very hard controlling the crowd. I got like tear gas like 5-6 times. I was in hospital a couple of days after that because of the tear gas as well. So because of the breathing issues and all that shit. But so that's it was very sad, to be honest. I was very upset the day. Like it's not the what do you call it? Rajapakshas who came and hit you. It's your people,
civilians,
right? It's your people. Like why don't they get it?
And just
I understand.
probably a packet of rice.
I mean, and for like some kind of liquor, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't get it. Like, don't you guys see what are we trying to do? I mean, like I understand there are certain MPs were there, Pradesh Sabha ministers were there. For them, it's like they are getting money. But what are you guys civilians getting from that? Like by hitting your neighbors, your brothers and sisters, what are you guys getting? I mean, I saw the video of how they hit Vishwa and how they get Anuruddha, like, but I can't remember his name. So, what are you guys getting from it? Like, what are you guys getting from bloodshedding?
I
don't
feel like it
understand
was
that.
very impulsive. They never had a clear goal. They never knew where it was going to go.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like they just you guys are just blindly supporting those like Mahinda. Why though? Like, okay, you guys can blindly support them, but you don't need to hit another person or to say no to another person because you don't believe it.
Why
Like
choose violence?
violence, right?
Yeah.
Like it was. I just sometimes I lost word when someone come and talk to me like that, because I remember each and every moment I spent there, right? Like people were very like, I mean, even though how much peaceful our people were, like they also had their emotions, so it was controlling them was immense. This thing, so I really thank Bar Association for coming and helping us out that day as well. Like they've been doing a really good job.
Yes.
So that day I was with them, like I was there with them the entire 6 hours. Like when things were calm, it was like 6 o'clock in the evening, right? Like everyone, we never let anyone inside the gamma or anyone from the gamma to go outside and hit anyone. So we had massive support from around the working spaces and hospitals and everywhere. So there was like plus and minus for that. Like it was really good to see everyone was really keen to help each other, but it was really disappointing to see civilians choosing violence over civilians because for some battagat and
Liquor, that's very true. So also talk a bit about, how GGG or Gotago Gama became what it was. And, since you do spend a lot of time there, tell us a bit about the atmosphere for people who are listening, from all over the world. so they can know that, yeah, that is a peaceful protest and not what basically the media portrays it to be.
Uh, May 9th actually attracted lots of international media, but they also gave a lots of misleading information on GGG. They said there were clash between peaceful, the clash between anti-government protesters and pro-government protesters. That was not true. We've been saying that to them. We've been informing that to them whenever they gave us
Yes.
interviews. We were making sure that we tell the truth out there. So at all points we were like absolutely telling them that this is nothing to do with what do you call it? We never engage or we never said we want anything about violence. Like we were always preaching peace. Even when there was even if a politician comes, we said we there was like only two things that we do not accept: the party politics. One thing, party politics, you can't preach party politics there. So, and other things, you can't keep hand in the gate zero. So gate zero was one thing, the main in front of the president secretary, you have that stage. So no one would dare to touch that, because that's our main place in the government.
Right.
That's why we call it ground zero. So no one touches ground zero and no one preaches party politics. But we obviously need to work with politicians nowadays until at least an election comes. But that doesn't mean you can preach politics inside. And people, ever since May 9th, even the government is been asking, sending a lot of fake news out there. JB
Right.
is there. What do you call it? HJB was like thrown away from that. Like it was nothing like that. Everyone was there from inception. JP or NPP group was there from inception. But this message was sent out in a very wrong way. I mean, SJB or JVP or NPP were there from initial, but they were never allowed to preach their politics. The
Right.
motive was very clear. Motive was sending Rajapaksa's home. Anyone who, like they say, enemy is a friend. Like anyone
Yes.
who says and who willing to listen to that, okay, we are agreed to them. But that doesn't mean they can come and say, we are the leaders. No, it is a public moment. You adhere to that, you be there.
No one's leader, everyone's leader there.
No, everyone is common there. And people ask why there can't be a leader. That's why your movement is falling. Because of leadership only we are there.
See, that's the sort of a mindset Sri Lankans have.
Yeah,
right?
like
someone has to be in authority.
Someone, DSN Kumar,
Yeah.
let's say one person need to come save us. That's what happened with Mind. That's what happened with someone is coming against Mind, Mind Sripala. Then again Gotabe. Now again they are searching for someone else. Like that mindset need to be completely wiped off. The power should be equally distributed everywhere. Devolution is power is mandatory.
Yes.
We need to have systems to power distribution, right? That's why GGG was always a good place to be. Like if they all there was no one who is like I am the leader.
Yeah.
Everything was discussed among everyone, and everyone's points were taken into consideration and then come to a conclusion. If you have someone like an executive president there also, it would have been, there is nothing, no difference between
the
current
government and the
this
movement.
moment, right?
Yes.
So, and also everyone, since you asked about GTG is not just a place, right? It shouldn't be only Colombo. I have seen there were 9 to 10, I think, branches all over the country. It should be every single one of us.
It should be people.
People. It
Yeah.
should be people. GGG should be people. The change should be people.
Not a place.
Not a place.
Yes,
It
very
should
true.
be all Sri Lanka, entire Sri Lanka should be GGG. I mean, we are planning something on next week,
Right.
on May 9th, to finish this off what we started, but we are planning to bring a lot of people into Colombo. But we do understand the fact that there is no fuel. So what you guys can do is, you guys can absolutely make your own protest everywhere.
Wherever you are, right?
Yeah, as well. That's what we tell now also. Everyone who can come to Colombo, please do come to Goldface. We will fill it as much as possible. 1 million people, 2 million people, we will fill it, no worries. But balanced people, you protest wherever you are.
Yes.
Make the entire Sri Lanka protest site, not only GGG, Colombo, Kandy, or Matara, or Galle, or anywhere.
That's
That's
very
what
true.
we are
You know,
saying.
it's sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say that, but people kind of think at GGG as like a tourist attraction now, or you have to be there to sort of protest.
Not really.
No, have it in your heart, right? Have it in your heart.
Yes,
That's where
absolutely.
the most important parts. And also, since you brought on the topic of executive presidency, are we seeing any hope in abolishing it?
We absolutely need to abolish that executive
Yes.
presidency. They've been bringing like 21st Amendment was brought in last week, gazetted, to be honest,
Yes.
and that was absolutely nonsense. And they have been brought up 22nd now. They're just putting the ball out and see like what people will say. That's also from what we hear. That's also some kind of nonsense they have brought. So the president's power should be curtailed immediately. So there shouldn't be another Gotabaya Rajapaksa. There shouldn't be another Mahinda Rajapaksa coming to power. I mean, no matter how much they're good, I'm not saying Gotabaya or Ranil or anyone is good, but even if it's a good man who is coming into that power, once they got that power, they can absolutely change, because that much of power one person has is not good for any country. So
Yeah.
we need to curtail the power as much as possible, and we need to give that power to the parliament.
But do you think that will happen in Sri Lanka?
Absolutely, that's what we are fighting on. This doesn't stop. That's why I said we are still in Davis. This doesn't stop. This movement cannot stop. You can't just because tomorrow the Gotabaya Rajapaksa is going home. You can't say
You can't stop it.
you
there,
can't
right?
stop it right there. You can't stop it right there. If you are going to stop it right there,
That's
we
not
are
the
gonna-
end goal.
yeah, we are gonna fall back to square one again. If we are gonna go home, okay, Sajid is coming, or Anura is coming, or whoever is coming, okay, they will take care of the country. No, we can't do that. I mean, that's exactly why we are in this place. First of all, Mahinda was there, Chandrika was there before. After that, like one person after that, okay, this person will save, this person will save. No one will save. We need to save ourselves. So this time we need to curtail the powers. We need to give the power to Parliament, and Parliament should divide the power more into systematic ways, in all possible ways, and then we can have like transparency system, and whoever did wrong should be held accountable.
Which is something that we never see happening, right? Think about the Easter bombing attacks, right? Where is the justice?
I mean, like I said, it's about the people in power. Like when the people in power are corrupted, they are not gonna, the thieves won't catch the thieves. So
There you go. The thieves won't catch the thieves.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like Ranil came. Ranil won't obviously get the thief, because like
He is the
he is one of the thieves. Like each and every person has their own file. This person has this person's file. This person has this. So new people, like first people who haven't done any shit should come into power. So they will catch both the thieves. Like not only Easter. Look at the bond scam case. No one. What happened? What happened to Tajidin? What happened to Lasanta? No one is there.
Yeah.
What happened to Tamil genocide? No, nothing happened, right? So what happened to Digan and all these like the racism shit they've been pulled out about this the Justice Bullah's one, and that's the doctor in Kurunagar. So like these are like things that they play to come into power, but so they have made baseless accusation for truthful people, and in the meantime, the wrongdoing ones are out there in the street. Even now,
Right.
May 9th one, Johnson Fernando is still out on the street, right? So even Mahinda Rajapaksa, he should be behind the bars. I mean, everyone who was there on that day in Temple Trees, who is responsible for these kind of acts, should be arrested. But they are outside, and almost 3,000 of activists got arrested.
Yes.
So it's always has been so. The good doing ones are inside the bars, and wrongdoing ones. I won't be saying our justice system is corrupted. No, it's absolutely not. We like when something not related to politics happens, like a theft or something. Our police work fast to catch that thief. Even the drug bust. We have seen so many drug busts happening. So if that our police and our justice system is that much fast, why only certain cases
Why
are
is it
there
different when it comes
to
to
politicians?
the politicians?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you see that you can connect the dots.
Double standards.
Not you can connect the dots where it coming from. So as far as the thieves are in power, the thieves won't get arrested. So that's it.
That's what you're saying. And also, Nuzly, now let's talk about, yes, we do want Gota to go, that's kind of like one of our goals, right? So can Sri Lanka actually afford to not have a standing president at this very moment?
To be honest, we can as soon as Gota goes, like someone from the parliament.
Or who do you think would be suitable candidate? No one.
No, I'm absolutely like at the moment there's a policy like I wouldn't say or I wouldn't support any party until as far as I'm going to be in this moment. If I'm going to become a politician one day, then I can evaluate each and every party.
People are waiting for that to
happen. Not really. I'm not saying I'm coming. I'm saying then I can choose, evaluate, and look out for option and who has the broader, wider picture of continuing this thing. But as of now, anyone from the someone who is in the parliament will take charge of the presidency, and after that we immediately need to go for an election.
Yes.
Parliament election. I mean, we are printing monies like trillions and trillions. I mean, for an election like parliament election, we would go like 13 billion rupees. I mean, if we can spend around like for salaries that much, or if we can spend around for like building MPs' houses, that was like they say we burned, like people burned the houses. So we can absolutely go for a parliament election as well. So it will take like 6 months from now on if we actually want an election. I think we actually need an election.
We do need, but the irony is, Gotabaya actually said, he had the audacity to say, I don't want to end my term as a failed president.
I mean, you already
have failed.
Yeah, exactly.
What more is that?
He's actually trying to pass. I mean, there is no pass. Like you are just digging your own grave, like more and more.
You already have.
Each and every second you stay there, you are digging your own grave more and more. So it's time. It's already you have failed. No, don't dig this thing more. Just go away. I mean, Ranil also did the same thing. He dig his own grave last election. He just came back again to dig it more. I think.
He definitely did. Well, there you go, Nuzly Hameem, once again giving up, adding a bit of humor and all in between with some authenticity. This is the mic drop, a revolution of generation. Yes, he is a one-of-a-kind activist, as amazing, on air. He is amazing and humble off as well. So once again, thank you, Nuzly, for joining in. Well, sadly, we are moving on to the final couple of minutes, but, let's make it as amazing as possible so that everyone would know, the entire world watching or listening in would know, what is truly happening down in Sri Lanka. Now, talking about the entire world, obviously the media coverage, like you said, sometimes they do paint a different picture than the true narrative. Do you think the government is actually playing a part in it as bribing these companies, even international media, to show something that's totally different from what is the truth? I mean, the government obviously has some hands on the private institution in Sri Lanka. What about the ones overseas?
I don't.
Because you and Alina, you did talk to a couple of media coverages outside.
I have been talking to Sky News and BBC. So
yes.
From UK and also Indian channels, but I think most of the times they do not get the right person to interview with. So
do you feel like the questions are kind of like very structured and?
I mean, certain like media. I mean, you guys know, so sometimes you guys want controversies to come up. So I mean, I won't say it's the government playing that. I mean, so it's basically either they do not know the subject or they actually
want a story.
They just want a story, something like that. So I don't think it's the government playing. I mean, actually, in the local TV channels and papers, like there is a certain media channels that have been handled by the government to purposefully spread fake news.
Yes. Well, that's true. Now, we had Chanki always on the interview. Now, she had a very different opinion than every other interview. So I was very curious to ask you this question. So Sri Lankans right now, they are fleeing the country in hopes of, having better finances. Obviously, the situation in the country is horrible, whether it's for studies or otherwise for jobs or whatnot. Now, she said that should not happen. Obviously, it's personal preference at the end of the day, but she said, we need people to stay in this country because we are bringing in the fight. So who's going to save the country if everyone's going to fly away? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, as far as it's a personal opinion, I mean, if I'm not actually participating in this thing, like you might ask this question to someone else and I would be one of those reasons.
Yes.
But as far as it's like that, it's a personal opinion, I would agree with what she said. Like, we need to fight this country. Right? If this is our country, I mean, if not for us, who will come and fight for this country? I mean, if you guys are leaving this country, if each and every educated person is leaving this country, I understand why you guys are leaving. I mean, the life has been very shitty here. It's like a hell to live with. But if not for us, who is going to save this country?
Because sometimes people, Sri Lankans have this, very patriotic idea, but something bad happens and they just they just throw it out the door.
No, it's again the same thing that what they believed in politician all these days, right?
So you think the patriotism came because of that?
No, not really. What I'm trying to say is like they all these days they've been believing on the politicians. Nowadays, even if you go to social media, they will be like, what is the next step from Aragali? I mean, come on, you guys are also Aragali. Like not only us, like you are also all Sri Lankans.
You're part
like,
of this,
yeah,
right?
yeah, what is your idea? Just tell it to us. Like we will get our ideas and we'll compile one if you want to. Like, I mean, that's what we want. Like whoever going can go. There's like no one is stopping them. No one can stop them. It's a personal preference. But I personally believe everyone should be part of this. Even if you want to go, okay, under no circumstances you can't stay here. Okay, completely fine. But go there. But also keep Aragali on mind. Keep this country on mind. Help whatever way possible, because we have been Aragali has been getting a lot of help. I'm not talking about only financial, but a lot of help from abroad. A lot of people doing whatever. Even sometimes Sri Lankan country, they have been protesting everywhere in the world. I mean, we need to thank them as well. If protests happening in Geneva, protests happening in Australia, like all of
So many
countries. So I wouldn't blame everyone who is flying in the country. I mean, they might have their own reasons, but if you can really stay in this country and fight for this country, absolutely you need to fight for this country. I mean, if you believe, okay, let these people fight for this country, I will come back to this country once after this all this settled. Well, to come back to, you might not have a country. So I think we need more manpower. We need everyone to fight for this cause. So come, just fight for our cause. Fight for this country's cause.
Well, I do believe one of the reasons why people do not come out and fight, for example, coming out to protests is the fear of death. Right now, the Sri Lankan army have been getting involved on lately, whether it's them being present at petrol sheds, which I saw by the way yesterday, and even in violence and whatnot, right? So they do not have to necessarily get involved unless there is a war or an emergency situation. So why do you think that is happening?
It's actually this has been happening like in northern days for like last 30 years has been, right? Like we in south had the privilege not to go through all this, but I think I have lots of people ask me this question, and I have been seeing lots of questions has been asked in social media as well. Why and how come people like the army can involve in civil obedience? It's actually the government and the president who has been doing it. Like he has been renewing Gazette under Section 12 public obedience. He has been doing it for the last, I think, ever since he got
Into the
presidency, and based on the fact that there was an Easter attack, there was terrorism. Ever since that, he has been updating that Gazette every month, so which gives the power to bring army wherever he wants to. So that's why the army is there, and we need to. This is one of the reasons we need to get out of the executive presidency.
Yeah, so that sort of abusive, coercive power will be put away forever. Well, that is definitely the hope. Well, this is, of course, the mic drop, a revolution of a generation on Relax Radio Beyond Frequencies. And for today's show, we have Nuzly Hameem, a one-of-a-kind youth activist, and we are moving on to the final couple of minutes of the show. Well, Nuzly, thank you once again so much for being a part of the show. But before we leave, I do have, a very special question before the last one I want to ask you. Now, you did talk about, the north, right? People there have been, the marginalized, and of course, the minorities have been asking for freedom, right? Basic necessities. Like up north, there have not been power for a really long time, and they've been asking for land and whatnot, right? But now it's not just an economic crisis. Everyone's feeling it. Like you said, people in the south, they had sort of like a very privileged life, right? But like you said, even the army were very heavily involved in the north for many years. That difference, right? Why was that there all this time?
I mean, I would say that's also like voting by the politicians, to be honest. I mean, everyone was labeled as terrorists after what's happening with the LTT and everything. People used to look them down. Like that's what happened after Easter attacks. That's what happened after happened after the Gunner incident, people were so good together, even Tamils, Muslim, and Sinhalese. Each and every time they bought something, these politicians bought something, and they made sure you got the majority looks down to the minority and not equally. That's why there were lots of racist things has been happening over the past few years as well. Like if you see like Rajpaksha's basically like they're 95% of their politics based on racism. But this time also during Aragali also they tried to bring it down, but it never worked. That's why I said like this is a perfect opportunity to talk about all kind of problems,
all kinds of oppression,
everything.
Yes.
I have been seeing lots of comments on why LGBTQ problems has been talked in Aragali. I mean, they are also part of the society. They are also Sri Lankans. We need to talk all kind of problems.
Yes.
They are also going through 365, like Section 365 or Article 365, 365A issues like that need to be taken out in order for them to live their life peacefully.
Yes.
And prevention of terrorism act need to be, reappealed. So those kinds of everything should be talked in this platform. If we are not going to do it today, there won't be another tomorrow for any one of us to talk.
That's very true. So it's now or never. Well, Nuzly, we have come to the end of the show. So any final thoughts and a message to the country and the world?
I mean, it's just we are just getting started. Like I said, like this time is going to be like next couple of years, next 5 years, going to be very hard. To be honest, it's going to be really hard. But let's hang in there. But we need to fight. We need to fight. We have been fighting for like the Northernese people have been fighting for like years now. We've been started to fight within like last few months. Like we will continue to fight. We shouldn't. We should hold accountability from each and every one for each and every small things they have done.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be shutting up our mouth hereafter even anything small they do. I mean, whatever wrongdoing should be called out for. And
Yes.
all kind of oppression need to be stopped. And everyone should be equal. And that's how a new Sri Lanka will come up. And in order to do that, I would like everyone to, like I said before, to participate on 9th and storm Colombo completely, storm it out, just like you did in April 9th, just July 9th and other days to do it, and start this new journey by sending Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Yeah, well, that is definitely the goal. That's not the end goal, but that's one of the main goals.
Yes.
Well, we had an amazing session today. I'm super happy because we got, once again, the most authentic and, of course, the most humble, honest answers from an amazing personality, Nuzly Hameem, the youth activist leading this revolution of a generation of a one-of-a-kind. With that, of course, we're ending this broadcast. Thank you for anyone who joined us, and of course, for anyone who just took their time to listen to the show. But we are inviting you to share these videos, and of course, invite everyone to watch this special program, share it with your friends, your family, and whoever, and spread the good message. Well, with that, of course, we're ending this program. Have yourselves a wonderful Sunday ahead. Bye-bye.